father was a travel agent. Started InterGlobe in 1989. Co-founded Indigo in 2005. Now world's busiest airline. Here is the team that runs Indigo.
Well, the man on your screens right now is the man behind India's biggest airline and the aviation company with the highest market capitalization in the country. Rahul Bhatia was born in 1960 in Nainital, Uttarakhand, and grew up in Delhi with very modest beginnings. A classic middle-class story that few would have guessed would one day control more than 60% of India's domestic skies. Hello and welcome to Explained by NewsX. My name is Vineet Malhotra and today we decode the team behind Indigo. Well, Rahul Bhatia, the de facto owner of Indigo, studied at the prestigious modern school on Barakamba Road in the heart of Delhi and then moved to Canada, where he completed a bachelor's degree in electrical engineering from the University of Waterloo between 1978 and 1982, one of the finest engineering institutions in North America. His father, Kapil Bhatia, was also an electrical engineer by training, who had started a small travel agency called Daily Express Travels in the 1970s. Like many businesses of that era, the agency faced severe financial trouble and eventually went bankrupt in the mid-1980s. Rising from those ashes in 1989, father and son jointly founded InterGlobe Enterprises, a company that began modestly by selling tickets for foreign airlines and providing ground handling services across Indian airports. Kapil Bhatia is now in his late 80s and remarkably still holds a significant stake through family trusts and entities. Rahul Bhatia is married to Rohini Bhatia, who holds a diploma in textile design from SNDT University. She is a director in several InterGlobe group companies and currently chairs Indigo's CSR committee. The couple has two children, a son named Arunanchu and a daughter named Avantika, both of whom have been deliberately and completely kept away from media glare. Indigo, officially known as InterGlobe Aviation Limited, is not just any airline. It is the undisputed market dominator with over 60% share in India's domestic passenger traffic and one of the fastest growing airlines globally. Founded in 2006 as a private limited company, its ownership today is split between the promoter family and public institutional investors. Well, the idea for Indigo crystallized between 2004 and 2005. Rahul Bhatia realized that India's middle class was expanding rapidly, but air travel was still a luxury. He wanted to build a pure no-frills, low-cost carrier, single aircraft type, the Airbus A320 family, no free meals, very high daily aircraft utilization, and an almost religious focus on on-time performance. To execute this vision, he partnered with Rakesh Gangwal, an IIT Kanpur mechanical engineering graduate of 1975 batch, and Wharton MBA, who had earlier served as president and CEO of US Airways in the United States. In 2005, the duo signed what was then the largest single aircraft order ever placed by a new airline anywhere in the world, 100 Airbus A320s for roughly $6 billion. Indigo commenced commercial operations on the 4th of August 2006 with its inaugural flight from New Delhi via Imphal to Guwahati. At that time, India already had more than 10 private airlines operating: Jet Airways, Kingfisher, Air Deccan, SpiceJet, GoAir, Sahara, Paramount and several smaller players. Alongside the government carrier Indian Airlines and its subsidiary Alliance Air. Yet within just 8 months of starting, Indigo carried its first 1 million passengers in April 2007. By April 2009, it had crossed the 10 million passenger milestone, a growth story unheard of in Indian aviation. Not only this, InterGlobe Aviation also invested very heavily in building its own pilot and cabin crew training infrastructure from the very beginning. The InterGlobe Pilot Training Academy in Greater Noida officially opened its doors in late 2013, though Indigo pilots had already started training there from August 2013 using leased simulators. Listen to this rare excerpt from Rahul Bhatia's interview at the inauguration of the training center.
We inaugurated our simulation training facility for pilots in Greater Noida. It will be developed as a preferred Airbus training center and can be used by all airlines in the country, as well as from neighboring countries to train their pilots.
Well, Rahul Bhatia, while being the de facto owner today, originally co-founded Indigo with his close friend and partner Rakesh Gangwal. Rakesh Gangwal is married to Shobha Gangwal, and the couple has one daughter, Parul, who earlier worked at Salesforce and now runs her own small investment firm. The Gangwal family is based in Miami, Florida. After a bitter and very public 3-year dispute with Rahul Bhatia over governance standards and related party transactions, Rakesh Gangwal resigned from the board in February 2022 and has since sold almost his entire stake, retaining less than 5% today. The shareholding history tells the story of extraordinary tight promoter control. From the private days of 2006 right up to 2015 IPO, ownership was almost entirely with the two co-founders. Rahul Bhatia's InterGlobe Enterprises held about 51%, while Rakesh Gangwal's entities controlled about 47%, with the balance in employee hands. Indigo listed on the BSE and NSE on the 10th of November 2015 at around 765 rupees per share and raised over 3,000 crores in one of the most successful IPOs of that year. Immediately post-IPO, public and institutional investors picked up about 25%, yet the combined promoter holding still stood at over 72%. Since Gangwal began offloading shares from 2021 onwards, the promoter holding has steadily come down and now stands at roughly 36%, almost entirely controlled by the Bhatia family. As of 5th December 2025, Forbes estimates Rahul Bhatia's personal net worth at about 8.1 billion, down about 1% or $84 million in a single day because of the Indigo stock fall during the ongoing flight cancellation crisis. That still places him at number 420 on the Forbes Global Billionaires list. Rahul Bhatia's entire fortune comes almost entirely from his approximately 36% indirect stake in Indigo through InterGlobe Enterprises. He has barely sold any shares himself, so most of his wealth is built on capital appreciation and dividends. In calendar year 2025 alone, the family entities received roughly 1,600 crore rupees of dividends, 10 per share, and enjoyed paper gains running into several thousand crores before the recent crisis shaved off some value. Now, more about the company executives. The man handling day-to-day operations is CEO Peter Elbers, a Dutch national who took charge in September 2022 after spending 30 years at KLM, the last 8 as its president and CEO. The 10-member board includes Rahul Bhatia as non-executive promoter director, CEO Peter Elbers, independent chairman Venkat Ramani Sumantran, former WestJet CEO Greg Saretsky, leading corporate lawyer Pallavi Shardul Shroff, former chief of air staff Birendra Singh Dhanua, former US FAA Deputy Administrator Michael Whitaker, and others. A board deliberately strengthened after the 2019-2022 governance battle. And that brings us to the crisis of December 2025. New DGCA pilot rest and duty time rules increased mandatory weekly rest from 36 to 48 hours and capped night landings. Indigo admits it badly misjudged the additional pilot requirement. The result was chaos. Over 1,000 flights cancelled in the first week of December alone, thousands of passengers stranded for days, and fares on remaining flights shooting through the roof. The government has now temporarily relaxed some restrictions and ordered full refunds, while reports suggest heavy penalties and even possible removal of the CEO are under consideration. From a bankrupt travel agency in the 1980s to becoming the world's busiest single aircraft type airline in 2025, the Bhatia family, Kapil and Rahul, at its core, still hold the decisive stake and final word. Whether Indigo recovers swiftly from this unprecedented crisis or not, the foundation that Rahul and Kapil Bhatia laid almost 4 decades ago remains rock solid.
Father was a travel agent. Started InterGlobe in 1989. Co-founded Indigo in 2005. Now world's busiest airline. Here is the team that runs Indigo.